And then no matter what it is, whether it's your career, craft, passion, when it gets uncomfortable, it's usually right before major growth. Always. Why? Well, because you change something within your style and now you're adapting to it, but you haven't figured it out yet. I think every time things start to get uncomfortable drumming, I'm like, hey, it's about to be really comfortable in a whole nother level. I'm working the crap out of my forearm. Have you ever thought about doing work on your arms? Like actual therapy, not surgery? Because they never tell you that. Oh, you have
Right.
carpal tunnel. We need to cut up your hand. And do I? What if I stretch and I mean, I'll do it myself on the windowsill and like, oh, it hurts, but I can feel it in my fingers when it's super tight. It's something I try to preach to people all the time. Diet and exercise will go everywhere. Yeah, I've got to be pretty messed up to need an antibiotic. Like, I refuse flu shots and any of that shit.
Welcome to the Collaborative Resource Hub by Wellness Provisions. We're bridging the gap between mental health, wellness, and rock and roll. I'm Amy McBride, owner of Wellness Provisions, the most badass wellness business. Hey, are you feeling a little stuck in life? I offer wellness coaching sessions. Book a session with me if you're seeking to get healthy and ahead. Sessions are available worldwide. And check this out. Wellness Provisions supplies rock and rollers with high-quality supplements. We've simplified your shopping experience and given you a trustworthy place to go where you can essentially shop blindfolded. And did you know all our Collaborative Resource Hub interviews air on YouTube as well as all major podcast platforms? Subscribe to stay in the loop. Go immerse yourself in the full Collaborative Resource Hub experience over on our website. You'll have access to helpful resources that will inspire and educate you. So let's inspire each other. If that guy did it, so can you. Last but not least, my legal disclaimer. Nothing in this interview or the Collaborative Resource Hub substitutes medical advice. Please connect with your GP if you need medical guidance. Sean, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well too. Yeah, I'm excited to have you on here. Thank you for making time.
Absolutely. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. So I like to just jump in to the very first question. Who cares about banter? Who cares about talking about, band stuff, whatever? I would like to know, what does wellness mean to you?
Uh, Wellness to me means mental and physical healthiness, and the different things to do and to help with that. And as we clearly get older, it becomes even more and more important.
Mhm. Is there anything, and it could be relating to, something like specifically wellness related, or really, I mean, anything, that you kind of wish that you knew when you were younger, that you're thankful for knowing now, but it would have been cool to kind of be more aware of earlier?
Yeah, I mean, I've been pretty lucky as far as food wise goes and how my diet is. Um, the intestine issues I had, like it took me way later in life to realize, oh yeah, you need to not be drinking milk and eating ice cream, not working at all.
Mhm.
So I wish I would have known that way earlier. I wish I would have known and gotten into juicing more when I was younger and the
Okay.
benefits of even just like things like lemon water and doing like simple kidney cleanses. So mostly things like that.
Yeah. So what is, like, for someone who, might not be familiar with the benefits of lemon water or other aspects of juicing, do you want to get into that a little bit?
Absolutely. So, like I said, my girlfriend is a healer and she does acupuncture and massage and she does everything. And I witnessed firsthand with her, like she reversed her hypothyroid through, and she was a celiac also. And the key here and I can get into how she actually reversed that, and she was severe.
Wow.
Um, but I watched firsthand with her of this regimen of 16 ounces of lemon water, 15 minutes later, 16 ounces of celery juice, 15 minutes later, a heavy metal cleanse smoothie that's wild blueberries, banana, two oranges, fresh squeezed cilantro,
Uh-huh.
dulce flakes,
Uh-huh.
and like wheatgrass barley powder. And then you take Hawaiian spirulina with that, and that concoction actually helps pull the heavy metals that are
Yeah,
flushing
very
around in your brain and your body.
yeah, all those greens, super binding. That's awesome.
So, and then she was already gluten free because she was celiac, but then really like regimented her diet. 3 months in, I mean, they wanted to radiate her thyroid, and she was like, absolutely not. So 3 months in, they're like, oh, that's weird. Your numbers are totally normal. Okay. So fast forward a couple of years, my son got diagnosed with lymphoma. So as he started to go through chemo treatments, we went vegan, and we went on that exact same program. And I mean, regiment every single day. And I did it with him, and holy shit, I felt super good. Number one.
Yeah.
But within 3 months, he was totally cancer free. And then you have to ask yourself, do we stop chemo or do you not? And that's a super shitty decision as a parent, and kind of got to roll the dice and, let's do it. But during that whole time, we were constantly doing that. She had him on a Chinese herb concoction that was also helping. We freaked out all the doctors and nutritionists there. They're like, why are you guys so positive? How come he bounces back so fast? And why is he gaining weight?
It's so like, it's just like, it makes me so sad that so many people, I mean, like, this stuff is real, you know, and like it exists. And even the comment on like the mindset, it's like, it's just so sad that this is such a small slice of the pie and of reality. It sucks.
It most definitely does. I've witnessed so many different things of healing. I was lucky enough to live next door to a guy who was kind of his main gig at the time was basically putting NBA players back on the court. But his like main thing, his real deal, has cured MS like 20 times with his hands. And then starts doing that, but something even more extreme with kids who have MS, but then something else. I met one of his patients because I would play drums in the house next door. I always check, hey, do you have clients? And some of his clients didn't care. They loved it.
Yeah.
And I met this woman who drove herself to the house. And she was like, Matt saved my life. She was like, a year ago, I was in a wheelchair and was ready to die. And I drove here today. And I've been driving. And I'm like, okay, wait. And I asked him, and then he broke down how there's every nerve that is functioning, there's a dormant nerve next to it that does the exact same thing. It's just dormant. So like with MS, for example, that those nerves die. So what Matt does is get in with his hands and re-trigger the dormant nerve to start doing the job of now what is the dead nerve. Yeah. And that's its job. It just is hanging out dormant.
Yeah.
So he gets them all going again. I'm like, holy crap. I, at one point, was like, do I have carpal tunnel? And with early arthritis, I couldn't close my hand and then reopen it. It was so gnarly. He was like, dude, calm down. He was like, you're basically an aging athlete and you need some maintenance. And I'm like, okay. He's a big guy. He's like 6'3". He's like, lay on the ground. Lay on my ground. I put my arms out and he starts stepping on my forearm. And he's getting into spots and he's making me clench a fist, open it, go left and right. He goes, you're so locked up in your forearm that the blood isn't getting into your hand, circulating and being able to come back. So sure, what you feel probably does arthritis or carpal tunnel. He was like, no, you're locked up.
Yeah.
He did that to me 2 days in a row. And I'm like, what? Are you kidding me?
That's so cool. Yeah, you just needed to like open the pathways and get circulation because oxygen.
And so that started making me think about, people who have carpal tunnel and they're typing all the time. Well, yeah, I I'm working the crap out of my forearm. Same as, have you ever thought about doing work on your arms? Like actual therapy, not surgery?
Right.
Because they never tell you that. Oh, you have
Right.
carpal tunnel. We need to cut up your hand and do that. And like, do I? What if I stretch? And I mean, I'll do it myself on the windowsill and like, oh, it hurts, but I can feel it in my fingers when it's super tight.
Yeah.
I'll work it until it's not anymore. And I'm
Like physical therapy stuff, basically, that they would do like post surgery.
right. So my girlfriend is learned this new technique called zone therapy. She learned it from a chiropractor. She took his class. She does it through acupuncture and needles.
Huh?
And it basically is rebooting your brain signals, which in turn kind of goes along with what Matt does with re-triggering nerves.
Mhm.
She does it to me all the time. I didn't notice. Like I notice the people that need it the most feel it immediately. So for me, it's more subtle, but she gets it done through chiropractor, and there's 6 spots on your skull, which is the most sore, and that is related to certain things in your brain. Well,
Yeah.
one of them was elimination and diet or digestion.
Yeah, like
He was a
colon.
severe celiac, like cross contamination. This tiny woman looks 5 months pregnant in like a minute. Brutal. January, she was like, I was elimination and something's different. And did a little experiment. And then when she was with me in February in Canada, I went out to the bus and I came back in and she goes, don't be mad at me. And I'm like, what did you do? She was like, I just ate a donut. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm looking and she was like, I feel great. And I'm going to go get a beer now. And I'm like, you're freaking me out because like you just got here yesterday and this could be like the end of the trip. And no, done. She eats whatever she wants, gluten all day long. She's totally assimilating her foods now. She still does lemon and lime water every day. It's incredible. So she now is working on finishing up an online course to offer to teach people this. Like our diabetic friend has dropped his insulin down like 2 or 3 times because of her. Long-term COVID effects, long-term COVID shot effects, she's
Yeah.
helped reverse. I
Huh.
mean, unreal.
Because like, so I'm super interested because and now I almost feel bad that like we're like recording this because I won't spend forever on it. But I'm super duper passionate about gut health, and it's interesting because any like autoimmune, like leaky gut syndrome.
No.
It's basically the idea that your GI tract, all of the tissue, the cells, they should be like this, referred to as like tight junctions. And with leaky gut, or anyone who has like food sensitivities, food allergies, alcohol disrupts it. Like it's so fragile. That so leaky gut, it's when the tight junctions are no longer tight and there's the permeability. So it's like this. There's these like, I tell people it's like, if you have like, like a nail that you're banging into the wall, but then like it goes through and the hammer goes through or something, that's like a huge hole. But a small nail hole, like that's normal, right? So you want to heal the tissue, which I mean, all of that can be healed, but generally it's through diet or like bone broth or some kind of like supplements
Yes.
to help, yeah, like heal the GI tract. So it's wild that she had gut permeability, but then for that tissue to reheal itself like that without that kind of internal, like foods, intervention like that, that's
Yeah.
wild.
I mean, we do eat really well. Definitely once she reversed it, she's been going a little hog wild. It's like, oh my God, I could eat biscuits that I haven't had in like 15 years, 20
Yeah.
years. Like,
Yeah.
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 But
Oh, does she take digestive enzymes at all?
um, no, it's usually just in like the juicing and the smoothies and
Crazy.
yeah. And I'm lucky enough to like, so Good Riddance is all vegetarian. I'm not, but I like to eat healthy and good. And my best friend, the guitar player, the Mad Caddies, Brandon, he's vegan. So I love food. So I will be sitting like on my drums at sound check, vegan near me, or I'll get up before him. And if we've got, I'm like, hey, I know where we're going. He's like, okay, cool, let's go. Like he doesn't
Yeah.
even ask. He just knows it's 9 out of 10 times. Like we're both going, oh my God, this is amazing.
Oh, wow.
So I make it a point to eat clean. I'm even when I'm feeling like congested or anything like that, if I'm at home, I'm like, ooh, I feel the little sickness coming on. I'll go to juice. It's called Juice Ranch. I'll get an immunity shot, which is like cayenne and a bunch of other shit.
Yeah.
Slice of orange, and then I
Yeah.
get it's called the Johnny Five Alive, which also has cayenne and apple, and I'll get that, and then I'll do it again the next day. One more day, I'm good.
Yeah, totally.
Everything, and then when I'm on tour, same thing. I'll do the quercetin, bromelain, vitamin C.
Uh-huh.
Totally works.
You take it every day?
Definitely when I'm like starting to, if I feel something, which is
Yeah.
super rare. It's something I try to preach to people all the time. Like diet and exercise will go everywhere. I've I don't take I've got to be pretty messed up to need an antibiotic. Like I refuse antibiotics. I've always refused flu shots and any of that shit
Yeah.
because I don't get sick. Why would I go take that?
Right. Right.
I mean,
And
I,
like foods and things that just like fortify your immune system. And that's what it's about. Just keep yourself like in a healthy state so you can just, your body naturally wards it off.
and actively sweating, not just sweating because it's hot, but like making your heart rate get high enough to cause your body to work to sweat out everything is it's incredible what it does to you. I mean, I drink beers, I do whatever. My girlfriend will have me pee on a stick sometimes to check my pH level, basically. And she was like, I know you're going to be acidic. And I'm like, uh huh. And then I'll pee on it. She was like, seriously? And I'm like, but we had this discussion about my daily, basically natural detox of what I do. She was like, yep. And I'm like, and I don't eat sugar. The only sugar I have is either fruit or in beer
Right.
because the beer breaks down into sugar, but I'm well aware of that. And
Right.
obviously potatoes but the
Yeah.
natural ones, I'm burning so much.
So you don't do like processed foods or anything like that, like hardly ever.
On tour, you kind of don't have a choice, but
Yeah.
I do my best not to.
Yeah.
I love cooking. I've been a single dad forever, so I love to cook. Or if
What's
I'm
your
going to go out, I'm going to spend money.
right, right. What's your favorite thing to cook? Like currently or your all-time like just favorite recipe to make?
If I'm going to really like take the time and like, all right, we're having epic breakfast today. I love to make my own home fries with like fresh onion and garlic and bell peppers and salt, pepper, red pepper, olive oil. Awesome. I'll do that with black beans. And then depending on am I doing eggs or I'm going to do like vegan chorizo with eggs, depending on who I'm with, and a little bit of fruit. I love that. I actually would call that the Twin Peaks breakfast because
Why?
because I would literally like in the late 90s, early 2000s. That was like a
Yeah.
routine on the weekends. I'm making
Oh,
Twin Peaks breakfast and we just watch Twin Peaks. And
okay. I was like, it's been a very long time since I've seen that show. Is that like food like in it or something? Like, okay.
no, it just went along. The two went together.
Yeah, that makes sense. Um, what kind of eggs do you buy?
I try to just get them right from somebody with chickens.
Smart. Yeah, I'm like obsessed with pastured eggs. I just can't eat something that's not a pastured egg.
Yeah, I I've had the pleasure of having chickens for a brief moment and went, oh wow, these don't taste anything like the other eggs. God
Yeah.
damn it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, what color is the yolk, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I want it as orange as possible.
Yeah.
Here's an advert in less than 50 seconds. Are you sick and tired of feeling sick and tired? Do you want to feel better in your mind and body? Then check out the wellness coaching that I offer. It's kind of like therapy. You can share what's on your mind, and then it's all about taking action. You'll learn new tools to help you heal and grow through what's tripping you up. We can focus on anything from physical health to mental health. Schedule a free 15-minute consult over on the website to learn more. And check out our Healthy Touring course. This self-guided online video course is for any level of musician. Whether you tour all the time or only sometimes, you'll learn a ton if your goal is to play better, feel better, and be better. With special appearances by members of Descendants, Teenage Bottle Rocket, The Last Gang, Lawrence Arms, and more. Head over to the website for all the details. Now, back to the interview. So how do you like balance your stress levels, either on the day to day, or if you want to take it as on the road versus off the road, or is it just playing drums?
That actually has a lot to do with a lot of things. It's definitely my personal happy place. I find if I go 5 days and I haven't played, I'm grumpy and weird. And it took a minute to realize, like, that's a thing, like, oh, okay. I've kind of been through a lot in my life. I've lost my older brother when I was like 21. I've lost my best friend. I've lost grandparents. I've lost other friends. I've had to watch my son fight for his life. I've lost loves of my life. I've been there, done that. And especially these days, between my son fighting cancer, one of my best friends, the bass player, Good Riddance, getting hit by a car, it makes you just stop and go, you know what? I'm going even further with my PMA. I'm like going full on all day. What you got?
Yeah.
Really? I'm just gonna laugh it off. It don't matter.
Yeah.
I live in a state where weed's legal, so
Okay. Yep, for sure.
that helps. Most definitely. I'm super high energy, anyways, so that just sort of
Yeah.
makes me mellow, less angry. Not that I'm angry, but people are shitty.
Yeah. It mellows you out. That's good. Have you ever gotten into, like breath work, meditation stuff, or anything like that?
So yeah, my Karen, actually, she goes to meditation usually once a week. So I definitely have done that. I've learned the benefits of taking the high road.
Elaborate on that.
Pausing for a moment and evaluating the situation, whether it be, someone just trying to hurt you. It's usually emotionally and mentally. And when you get caught in that, like, it's part of like my girlfriend's own therapy. It glitches your brain, and then you lump on to negativity, and then you find yourself spiraling. And so, what I had learned through somebody, like, really for no reason, like, you already did the damage. Like, why are you making it worse? Like, what are you trying to get me to do?
Mhm.
And then I was like, you're trying to get me to react to validate what you're saying to me. No, you know what? Absolutely not. I'm not going to not only not give you the validation, I'm going to take the high road and go, you know what? You're right. I do need to work on this. Let me think about that for a bit. And I will. I'm not afraid. It's growth. I want to be better constantly.
Yeah.
And physical health has everything to do with mental health and vice versa.
Mhm.
You know, we're all slightly vain. I am 49. I enjoy looking good, but I also know if I think I look good, then I feel good.
Totally. Confidence. Yeah.
So, and I also know that I'm playing really good. So, what do I need to do in my body frame that burns 1,000 calories every time I do a set? Okay, I need to do push ups and sit ups. I'm tiny. I need to stay in shape. Where am I weak? Why am I weak there? Okay, you need to do dips. You need to do this. Why are you getting so shaky? Because you're drinking too much damn coffee in the morning. You need, or your blood sugar drops because you're getting older and you still drink. You drink a bunch of beer. And I don't drink in the day, or I don't drink before I play ever. Even mad caddies, and it's slow. I don't care. It's my job. Oh wait. So I've recognized, oh shit, I don't eat sugar. So what I'm feeling the next day after beer is my blood sugar being super low from everything I burn. And then I put beer on top of it. I'm like, I need fruit. I need a smoothie. I need coconut water, a ginger beer, even I'll do. Like,
Yeah.
okay, oh, there we go. When I feel it, I run to the natural. I don't go get candy. I'll go get a banana and an apple and coconut water and maybe like a power bar.
Mhm.
Okay, can we wrap this up? I need to go get dinner.
All of that is such good stuff, dude. I just love you're so in tune to your body, and so many people aren't or aren't yet. And like, it's awesome. Like, you know what works for you.
I think a lot of people are afraid. I think a lot of people do know they're blowing it, but they think it's too much work, or I don't have the time because it requires effort, or just that general like fear of shit, something might actually be wrong. And then I got to deal with that. And I don't want to deal with that. I've gotten after, like, Chris got diagnosed and we went through all of that shit. I was like, you need to pay a little more attention to yourself there, dummy. Because he made me realize, like, you can't let things go to the wayside. Like, we got to go get it dealt with. And if something isn't right or you don't think it's right, go. Go
Yeah.
get checked out, see what they say. If something, go get your blood work done.
Hmm.
Not that hard. That'll tell you a lot.
Yeah. My dad, he ended up dying of stage 4 lung cancer from Agent Orange, Vietnam is what did it. But like, when they diagnosed him, he was already stage 4. He
Yeah.
lasted like 8 months or something like that from diagnosed to end. And like, but one of the things, it was, the lung cancer. And so he, for years, he was always like like clearing his throat a lot and stuff. And like, but never saw a doc, like never got
Yeah.
anything checked out. Yeah. So here we, yeah. So it's ignoring what your body's trying to tell you.
And I'm lucky enough to have somebody that can look at signs naturally. She can look at your tongue and be like, okay, we need to do this. I mean, when we finally got home here yesterday, we stopped in at Whole Foods and we're like, okay, you've been on the road for like 5 straight weeks, and I've been out there 5 days through Texas with you. Like, so back to the initial question, we need to do the liver kidney cleanse where like grapefruit and lemon and oranges, and we'll drink about a gallon of it in a day and just flush your system. Because those two things, that they're your everything. That
Yeah.
they, it's where everything goes through.
Yeah.
And when
And
it stops working, then it starts.
I was just gonna say liver health too, like it's not like you don't have to only, it's not congested just from alcohol,
No,
like
not at all.
pharmaceuticals, food, sugar, like everything, like everyone needs to pay attention to their liver.
Traveling so much, right? It's hard in this country because if you're not adamantly going full organic on everything, you're getting GMOs, you're consuming things that the rest of the world deems not consumable by humans. Down to even Fireball, which I don't ever drink that crap, but the Fireball that is in America, it's not allowed in Europe because it has
Really?
ingredients that they're like, that is toxic to humans. And even like, I notice a difference in my intestines when I leave this country, always. But even down to like Europe and especially Germany, but they have alcohol purity laws. Like I was telling Karen, she's never been there. I'm drinking a wonderful, fresh German pills that has sediment in the bottom. She was like, "Well, what's considered a pills in America?" I go, "Budweiser," and she goes, "Ew," and I go, "Yeah, not the same here though. Like
Right.
this has got like hops, barley, and water, and you feel the difference, and you
Yeah.
feel it in food, and you don't find organic because everything's kind of organic
Right. Yeah.
as it should be."
Because I've heard, and it's like recently that I kind of started like that I started hearing it is the idea that a lot of people might not actually have, and I'm going to say the word sensitivity, not allergy, just because I really don't know, but like to gluten or so like the wheat, I guess it's not necessarily the wheat that's the problem, but it's all the, how it's grown, the pesticides and all the chemicals and stuff that people have the reaction to. So then in Europe, everyone's like, oh, I'm eating bread and I feel fine because it's not the gluten.
And they GMO'd a lot of these to make sure that the bugs die when they eat it. Well, what's that doing to us then?
Seriously.
Because we're turning that into our food source, and that's where your problem lies. Like I have a friend, she's basically lactose intolerant, but she's not. She's intolerant to the U.S. pasteurization process
Hmm.
because she goes back to Australia or she goes to England. She doesn't have that problem.
Or she could just get like, raw milk or something and be
So
fine.
that's what she was like. So if I get Kerrygold Irish butter, I don't have that problem. If I get English cheddar, I don't have that problem.
Hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, I know. I've experienced these things firsthand now.
Yeah. It's
So
wild.
it is. And so it's expensive, but it's worth it. But you really have to go a little further out of your way over here than anywhere else I've noticed.
Hmm. Yeah.
I pick and choose my battles. Whole Foods is like, all right, I'll go I'll go for meat, but usually like Sprouts has local also. So if I can do that, I'm golden.
Have you heard of the company Force of Nature? They do. It's so weird to me to say like it seems weird. It's a meat company, but they are all God, they're like incredible. So they're regenerative, and the farmers that they work with all do regenerative farming practices, and so it's just a whole other level. And I know Sprouts carries their meats, and they do ground and also include like heart and liver into the muscle meat too. So like it's the extra nutrients.
And I have seen it because I go there almost every day because I'm kind of the when I'm home, which hasn't been a lot lately. It's like I'll go rehearse and I'm like, okay, what are we gonna do for dinner? Usually I think about it day of. Sprouts is right there. It gives me something to do.
Yeah.
If I get it in my head, I'm like, you know what? Let's do this tonight and that tomorrow. I'll I'll go there. But usually it's like every day. I'm like, you know what? Fish today. And I know that the fish is usually getting delivered right from the harbor. It's a Santa Barbara fish market. Well,
Yeah. Yeah. Super fresh.
caught right there.
Yeah. Well, look up, find like the force of nature stuff, because like they're just like they're just amazing how they treat the animals, how they treat the earth, what they're doing, their whole mission. I'm obsessed with them. Yeah. Um, have there been any healthy changes specifically that you could point to that have like improved creativity at all for you? Or I would say music, but then I'm thinking of like even just helping, like the forearms, circulation and all that opening up.
Um, Actually, it's something that I had told Karen. I'm like, I think I'm starting to see what your zones are doing for me, which actually has been two things: a little bit more like extreme PMA and clarity. Um, when I took a step back and started thinking about things of like, I kind of noticed that little change in me and how I'm dealing with certain situations that definitely like can light a trigger, that I've just been letting it go. And like, even
Yeah.
though they're wrong, they are never going to see that they're wrong and whatever.
Yeah.
Like you getting pissed isn't going to help. And I've recognized that in several situations in the last like probably 4 months, where I told her that. She was like, "Hey, that's awesome."
Yeah.
So that is definitely something I've noticed. And I've also actually, she got me on, which is specific, Celtic sea salt.
Huh?
Put a little pinch on your tongue. It's shocking. Like I've witnessed that like immediately. So there's a club in Berlin called SO36, and it is seriously like the freaking hottest club in the world. There's no AC. Even in the winter, it's 1,000 degrees in there. They've got the old Parcan lights still. It's like crazy hot, right? Going into the show, like, oh my God, I'm gonna look like I got out of the shower. I'm gonna pour water over my head. It's gonna be out of control. I took a pinch of it before we played. I didn't sweat like I should have, because it actually retains it, and you drink much water, and that helps keep the water in you.
Yeah.
You can drink a gallon of water, but if you piss out a gallon of water, you didn't hydrate yourself. You didn't
Precisely.
do anything.
Yeah.
It went in and it came out.
Yeah.
So
That's yeah, that's
this,
the importance of I mean, like the Celtic sea salt electrolytes, like
yeah,
people think, oh, well, I drink water, but you can oversaturate your body and deplete
yeah.
your electrolytes. Like you need to replenish them. Pink Himalayan salt's also really good for that, like too.
So this Celtic sea salt, where it comes from, there's a crap load of extra minerals. It comes from this spot, I think in France,
Okay.
which is funny because our first show in Spain on this last tour was in Gijón,
Uh-huh.
and backstage they had these drinks that are extra salty, but they actually have salt from that area in France. And I like took a picture. I was like, "Hey, Karen," I'm like, "They turned this into a drink, like almost like call it a sport drink, but totally hydrating." And it's like somebody got it figured out.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started my friend told me about this. I'd never heard of it before. It's called, I guess, Sole water, SOLE with like a accent mark over the E. And so it's like a jar, like mason jar, 3/4 with either like a Celtic sea salt, or I do the pink Himalayan salt, and then fill it with water. Let it sit for 24 hours, and then you just take like a teaspoon using like plastic or wooden spoon or whatever, and then just into some water and drink it. So it's essentially the same thing. Yeah, and it's like it's awesome. It helps
Yeah.
your energy levels. Yeah, it's oxygenating your brain. Like you're just it's like changing your oil in your car or something. Like you're just functioning better.
It's Karen's zone therapy. She was like, it's basically like turning your cell phone off when it's glitching and then turning it back on. And everything's all of a sudden like, oh shit, it's working again. I'm like, that's the best description because you're totally right. You're you're lighting it back up. And, wow. Okay. This is good.
That's so
She showed me a couple other like little exercises to open up your lymphatic system. It's like 2 minutes of this to get everything moving. And anybody, it takes 2 minutes. Like,
yeah.
really? I have
Yeah.
friends that I get, very close friend of mine that he's struggling and he knows he is, but he doesn't want to take the time because he doesn't have it. And I'm like, you do realize that like you can bang out a like push up, sit up routine in 15 minutes. And then you don't need to run. If you don't have a bike, you can take your dog on like 5 mile walk after dinner.
Yeah. Right.
You actually
can.
can.
The dog wins too.
The dog wins too. You could do it with your family. Your family wins too.
Yeah. Good
I mean,
bonding.
that was a thing when I was a kid. Like we used to go after dinner and like go on a full family walk around the neighborhood.
I know some people here where I live, they do that. And like, it's awesome. I'm like,
well, totally awesome.
Yeah. It's because they have young kids and I'm like, that's cool. Plus another just random, wellness factoid, movement after you eat will help to like balance out your blood sugar levels and stuff too. So important.
A good friend of ours in Europe, like so he drove Good Riddance before 2019. So we didn't see him again until last year. That was the first time we were able to go back since then. And his nickname is Big Herc because he's like 6'5", big German dude, and he was heavier for sure. Well, during lockdown, he started hiking and walking to where he got up to like, dude was walking like 20 miles a day.
Holy crap.
I mean, hiking and like, I don't have anything else. I'm just going to go.
Yeah.
He lost like 80 pounds.
Wow.
Like he showed up last year and I was like, dude, like what happened? Like everything's good, right? I mean, you look really good, but like, whoa, dude. He was like, I did some walking, and then I started hiking. And on our day off, he walked like 15 plus miles, 20 miles. Like that. But then I do that with the band all the time. Like we did 10 miles walking around Paris. Like we took an Uber to the Eiffel Tower and we started there. Mm-hmm. And there was a group of us. It was us and Face to Face. We were like, all right, Eiffel Tower. Let's go to the Louvre. So just outside the Louvre. So we go to the Louvre, another little spot. Hey, let's go get a glass of wine. On our way to the Arc de Triomphe, which is like a 2 mile or 3 mile. We ended up doing a little over 10 miles and ended up walking back to the venue.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Yeah. But that's it. Like if it's like walking, because like I feel like when you're almost disguising it in that case with like getting from point A to point B to point C. It's not a continuous walk, right? And and the other thing too, for like just exercising, like if your friend doesn't want to do the 15 minutes push-ups, it's like, okay, for someone, it's like, do you like swimming? Do you enjoy playing tennis? Like find something active that you enjoy and then like you're working out, but are you? Because you're having fun.
Yeah. I mean, I have a physical job. Karen has a super physical job. I mean, she's in phenomenal shape. It doesn't work out, but it's like, I need to be working out again because we're trying to go further. I could not work out and I get an insane workout playing the drums.
Yeah.
Whether I'm rehearsing or playing, but no, I want to go.
Do you play better when you have like when you've been doing like workout routine?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, see, that's what I thought. Cause so I've like, for whatever reason, my podcast like loves drummers. So I'm getting like trying to get more drummers on, but like all the guys are just like, well, I play drums. That's pretty much my exercise. And I'm like, I'm just thinking in my head, I don't say it, but I'm just like, but I feel like you could play even better if you actually work out too.
100%. So I'm a tiny dude, and I definitely try to get bigger. My son is 6 foot, 6'1", and he's tiny, and the same deal. I'm like, well, we need to eat way more food, way more protein.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, but I need my arms slightly bigger because I can feel the difference
Yeah.
massively. Like I went through a pretty emotional breakup like 6 or so years ago. It did a lot of damage to me emotionally. And my tiny ass lost like 10 pounds. I don't have 10 pounds to lose.
Whoa.
And I could feel that so much trying to play drums. It was brutal. And I'm like, this sucks. I already struggled to gain weight, and now I've lost all this weight. This is bad. Like, I struggle to stay at 145. I empty beer calories, super irrelevant for this guy. I mean, it's just
Jesus. Yeah.
so I have to like really, really, really try to consume, and that's super difficult on tour. And then I'm already like I'm drumming, and sometimes I'm lucky and I'm able to do like my little workout routine. But if not, I'm loading gear. I
Yeah.
love loading in and loading out. Like it's let's do this. Yeah. Like, okay, here's my other workout for the day. I'm
Yeah.
actually like carrying and walking heavy shit. And then I'm walking 6 miles a day
Yeah.
between all around the club and then walking a mile and a half to go get dinner and then a mile and a half back. And we're into it. And I'm gonna say last summer, after like 4 weeks, I think I cleared like 500 miles. My watch was like, congratulations, you've walked 500 miles. And I'm like,
Your watch just broke and was like, we give up. Just
yeah, it knows when I'm playing drums. It's like, oh, you're doing an indoor run. Would you like to record it? Sure. But I put it on swimming, and it's told me how many like backstrokes I've done and front strokes because of the way I've moved,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
which
That's
might actually be the better one to follow.
right. Yeah. Motion
But
wise, it would be more accurate.
I, according to that thing, it averages burning about 1,000 calories a show, active calories.
That's nuts.
So the amount that I have to put back in to counter that.
Yeah, you're in a deficit of 1,000, and then you have to get to level and then go up again. Wow.
Yeah, it's a thing. But I also I eat good and I don't eat sugar. I care. I like how I to feel good. I've learned, and Karen had pointed it out too. So aged cheese is so much better for you than non-aged cheese because of
Yeah.
the aging process.
Yep.
Cheese and fruit is like my favorite thing ever, and it's always my go-to at night. And when I'm home, I still don't eat enough. I try, but I still don't.
I kind of wanted to touch on grief or healing, like emotional healing and that sort of stuff.
We can get into that right now for sure.
Okay. Um, was the therapy that you had done or do presently, I don't know, in regards to any of that grief processing?
So yes, I've done therapy, but this is really interesting because I have my best friend was also, and he's my guitar player, but he acted almost like my therapist.
Okay.
Um, I'm also not afraid of the hard truth. And so Brandon had really been there for me. And I think a lot because I'm not afraid of the hard truth. I'm not afraid to look at it and go, okay, shit, it is me. Or I'm not afraid to hear what I already know but don't want to hear. So when I was going through a bad breakup, it came out of the blue, there were kids involved. I got totally blindsided, and like we were engaged. It was a huge thing, and I super positive person. Like I'm depression isn't a thing with me. Like even with my brother, I was able to not compartmentalize it, but accept it and work through my grief, like very much like on my own and through friends being there for me. But
Okay.
again, you have to be really willing to accept the hard truth. And if you're going to go to a friend for it, not a therapist,
Yeah.
you got to put friendship aside and like I tell me.
Yeah. You have to
And
have the intention to want to work through and feel better. I mean, with like anything. So yeah, having that intention.
so I did go to a therapist at that time. I went twice, and literally the second time she was like, I know that like this is my job, but why are you here? Because you do not need to be here. Like you got it figured out. Like she was like, well, I why did you even come here to begin with? And I'm like, I guess for affirmation. She's like, okay, on your way. But I can relate that again to because I had somebody in my life that pointed it out, helped with the hard truths. I was actually able to take steps back and be like, you totally did see that coming. You had a vision of this. You you saw it. You knew it. What do you have to do? Like this sucks. You will get over it. I went pretty far down the rabbit hole as people can do, and then just literally woke up one day and was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Like most importantly, that kid in there is everything. So, okay, you're done. Get it together and get
Mhm.
on with it
Mhm.
because of him. So pick yourself up, you deal with it. Break
Yeah.
down, you go on, and it's time. You can. I can still talk to my friend about it, like a therapist, and be able to talk about it, which is a huge thing. Whatever you're going, you have to be able to talk about it, and you have to be honest though with what you're talking about.
Mhm.
Somebody in my life will say that I may or may not have grown up with has gone to therapy because she needs to and she is slightly crazy, but her version of how she grew up to actually how she grew up is insane. So when you go to a therapist and tell them this delusional version of how you whatever you're going through, and it's like, yeah, but that's actually not how it was. This is
Right.
how it was, and you're not going to get real help because you're not first and foremost willing to admit it is you. It's not
Yeah.
anybody else. You got to start with yourself. I've always said I want to change the world through one person at a time, through love and happiness. Because you never know who that one person you change, what they're going to do.
Mhm.
PMA has been a huge thing in my entire life. And when Chris got cancer and we went to the hospitals and they were like, "What's PMA?" And I was like, "Positive mental attitude." And they were like, "What?" And then, of course, I tell them about the bad brains, and
Yeah.
they're like, "This is insane." I'm like, "PMA."
Were you like that as a kid? Were you positive and
Yeah,
like, yeah,
yeah, always.
that, that's cool. Have you helped anyone like knowingly, kind of, have you inspired anyone to be more positive in their own life that you know of from your positivity?
Definitely. Um, I freaked people out with it, like on a tour that were going full bipolar, aggressive, like throwing things, something whizzed by me. And I got injured because of their thing, and I didn't come at him. I like made him give me a hug and was like, calm down. And he freaked him out. He was like, why aren't you punching me? Why aren't you? And I'm like, what does that do?
Yeah.
I'm like, you need to stop and calm down. Like, you don't even know why you're freaking out right now. But
Right.
you gotta start there. I can put a band-aid on that. You, unfortunately, are going home tomorrow now because you screwed up. But before you go home, I'd like you to not be in this state of mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of I call him my little brother. He's so successful. I grew up when I was living in North Hollywood. Now, granted, his family is full-blooded Mexican, so he has the power of love and family that will stick through it all together. So there's that. But all of his friends in this neighborhood, they were all, seriously, a good portion of them were from tweaker parents. And surrounded by it, David was a C student. I took David, basically teaching drum lessons, and he wasn't really a drummer, so he started drum teching. Started with me, and then it was like Fishbone, and then worked his way up, and then it was like 30 Seconds to Mars, and then Papa Roach, and then he ended with Papa Roach after years. Didn't know what he was going to do. The tour manager happened to be an audio editor for Warner Brothers. Tells David to come in, hires him to intern over people with college degrees. He has no idea what he's doing, but he's a great dude and a great worker. He's now like a supervisor on film. He's not even 40.
Wow.
Yeah, he moved his way up like from CSIs to Narcos to the last Eddie Murphy movie on Netflix. He supervised the audio editing of it.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
Yeah, owns like 3 homes in Southern California, 1 in Silver Lake. Unreal. Totally looks up to me, which is super weird. I'm like, okay, there, mister.
Yeah, but yeah, well, that's awesome. Who's someone that inspires you?
Wow, there are quite a few friends that my friend Boz that's out with us, my friend Brandon, they all inspire me in different ways. My best friend Joanne, who was a single mom, total punk rocker. Her parents basically owned the protein supplement company, and protein powders, and muscle milk is one of their like main things. But she was a skater and snowboarder, and she's tattooed, but yet totally corporate. Company got sold. She's a horse trainer. 100% from the moment she was pregnant, single mom. Totally did it on her own. Owns a ranch now up in Northern California. Horses, trains horses. Goodness. She's like 5'1", super gnarly. Still snowboards, like commands horses. She's amazing.
Yeah.
But I'm lucky. I have quite a few friends that inspire me, whether it would be emotionally or mentally, inspire me to be better, try to like keep up with them. David being one of them. Mm-hmm. My friend Brian that tour manages Revolution, like he's always been like a younger big brother to me. So I've always looked up to him, and I'm like, tells it to me straight, I'll tell it to him straight.
Yeah.
I mean, he's come back to me later in life and apologized for like not understanding what I was going through, because he didn't have the emotional capability or maturity to even know what I was going through. Mm-hmm. And then you fast forward literally like 16, 17 years later, out of the blue, was like, it's been doing a lot of self-reflection, and you're super important to me. You are my brother. And I realized like how I reacted to you and dealt with the situation was super wrong. And I was like, I never even thought twice about it, buddy. It's all good. But that's cool. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, so he obviously had done a lot of healing and, leveled up and then reflected. Yeah. Good for him though.
But and also that somebody that has went to therapy, and it just helps being, I think, shown the perspective that maybe the perspective that you already know, but like I said, you're a little too afraid to confront or accept. It's a little easier to hear from somebody else if you're willing to,
Mhm.
um, which self-reflect on that.
Yeah, because I think most people just often are, even if it's uncomfortable, the uncomfortable is still familiar. So it's easier to just stay here because you know what to expect at least.
And then no matter what it is, whether it's your career, your craft, your passion, when it gets uncomfortable, it's usually right before major growth.
Yes.
Always. Why? How come my painting is all fucked up right now? Why? Well, because you changed something within your style, and now you're adapting to it, but you haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah.
I think every time things start to get uncomfortable drumming, I'm like, okay, it's about to be really comfortable in a whole nother level.
Yeah.
I'm not sure when, but we're gonna get there.
And that's it. And it's knowing, and it's really, I mean, like know now for and anytime in the future, it's like that there's going to be that really uncomfortable period when it's like you're in your head or you're frustrated trying to figure stuff, whatever. But and then like all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, I'm good. Like it's caught up with you, in a
Yeah.
good way. Do you have a quote or song lyrics that you like a lot?
One that always sticks with me. Well, this a couple besides PMA song "Attitude" from Bad Brains, but one that Tim from Rise Against that always stuck with me is "How we survive makes us who we are." And it's true. Like, how do you choose to survive? Like, are you just surviving, or are you using that to become better?
Yeah.
Because you're gonna have to survive through some shit one way or the other
Yep.
every day. How do you choose to survive?
Hmm.
Wow. Okay, I like that.
That's good.
So,
So the tagline for my business, because I do the podcast, but then I also sell supplements and do wellness coaching and stuff, is delay dying. So I like to ask everybody if you had to give someone tips or advice on how to delay dying, or in other words, live happier and healthier, what would you say?
healthy diet and exercise. I mean, get rid of soda and fast food. If they put those two things in your body, get rid of them.
Yeah,
Start there.
yeah, totally. Do you have anything cool coming up or coming out that you want to share on?
I have, let's see, Good Riddance is doing a Canadian tour, a Western Canadian tour, the end of September, and then Matt Caddies are doing Europe in November, and then Australia, New Zealand in December. And I have actually started a art collaboration with this woman named Katie Jacobson. She actually did the new Mad Caddies album cover, and she does it all in charcoal. She has her own page, but we started a collaboration where it's different, like drumsticks, a snare drum, a cymbal, but they're incredible. And on the Good Riddance tour, I'm going to actually have prints of the drumstick that she did. The paint, the detail is unreal. So I'm going to have
Wow.
prints for sale on this next one, and it's super exciting because I'm part of an art project that I never something out of the blue that I never thought I'd be a part of.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
yeah,
Cool. Well, thank you for all
Cool.
of your
Yeah.
time
Yeah,
and everything. Like,
absolutely.
yeah, dude, I really enjoyed talking with you. Just, I don't, I'm like, thank you.
Anytime, anytime. I'll always be a guest on the show.
Awesome.